Hi guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Penny.
And we are the Oyster Boys, and today we're going to be seeing if you can make Guinness at home.
Yes. Dave Line, another classic one.
Yeah.
Recipe, obviously, you know, you guys, we spoke about them before. We've done the Stella, we've done the Peroni Red.
Yeah.
And this is the Guinness. Bit of clickbait. We know that people will want to know how they make a Guinness. So
I've got to say, we're really getting good value for money out of this book. On the basis you can pick up this book for about £4 on eBay now.
yes.
And it is got
Free delivery with that as well.
so many good recipes. Well, we'll find out if they're good.
Yeah, I mean, I've tasted this. I'm excited to see what you think. You're not particularly a stout person. I love stouts. I love making this. I love the smell it's giving off. I've loved everything about it, and I've got it on draft, which is great.
Yeah, and what I just probably want to point out now, so this isn't the Guinness that you'd get in the pub now.
It's Guinness.
This is extra stout, which is also Guinness original. It's a bit stronger, a bit fizzier.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is 4.2, but
Well, ours is a bit stronger.
No, ours is because ours is the true one. It's worked out, I think ours worked out at 5.5, 5.6%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the original Guinness. Guinness started, it's 1759. Basically, I mean, a bit of history. Obviously, everyone knows about the famous story about the St. James's Gate, with the fact that he did the 9,000-year lease,
yeah.
£45 per year, and that's still the case now. And basically, Guinness, they did 3 types of beers. They did your porter, single stout, and double stout. And stout traditionally just meant strength of beer. You could have a pale ale that was a stout.
Right.
It was literally the strength of
Just
beer.
a stronger version.
Yeah, and then it'd be sort of synonymous with the Irish stout, and then Guinness pretty much evolved the word stout. You'd automatically think of dark beer. And then basically sales started to decline in 1970, and they decided to make Guinness Extra Stout more palatable, more drinkable, to attend to more of a wider audience, which is the Guinness we find now, the draft Guinness that you see, but you can still get the bottled Guinness, and they also do obviously the foreign extra stout, and then they broaden big time now. They do the lagers, don't they?
Yeah, because they do. You've got the foreign extra stout, West Indies porter I've seen in the supermarket. Well,
Yes.
Hop House 13 is Guinness's.
Yes.
In the UK, Guinness's lager. In other countries, they do a different type of lager, also an amber ale, and lots of other types of Guinness. Also chocolate. There's huge amounts of stuff you can get with Guinness in.
So, but we've managed to pick up obviously the Guinness original extra stout. So
just for a bit of comparison, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So this here, or these ones here, are homemade version, which Penny made.
Yeah, draft. Yeah. So,
and should we get this one in the glass and we can see how it compares? This is what we should be trying to replicate, I think.
In theory, yeah. I mean, the smells that were coming off that beer when I was making it, when I was, what's it called, in the fermenting in, I absolutely loved it. I mean, if they're not twins, I don't know.
I mean,
come on, even the head.
They are similar looking beers, aren't they?
Yes, I mean,
the head on yours.
It was good though, and it's died down.
No, what I'm saying is, it looks like a sort of like a tighter head, but that's because yours is on draft.
Yes.
Hold them up to the light. They are that sort of dark, very dark red.
This has got a slight more clarity. I mean, you can see it at the bottom of the glasses. I mean, it's a bit unfair because they're in different glasses, but. And ours is obviously a fat bum at the bottom, but I would say that it has got a slight more clarity, but other than that.
Yeah, but I mean, really what we're doing, we're not really marking the Guinness original today, we're sort of more focused on the homemade recipe.
Yes, what it's like.
It looks-wise, if you went to a pub and ordered a pint of Guinness, or someone poured you a pint of Guinness, that is exactly what you'd want, isn't it? That's got to be a 9 out of 10 really for that, hasn't it? Because that's exactly what you'll be after.
9.3 for me.
Yeah.
So it looks tasty to me, and I love stout. So, yeah, excited.
Shall we dive in and smell it?
I know this smells good.
Oh, that does smell good. It's funny actually, because so many of the stouts that we've been doing recently are such strong smells of chocolate and coffee and roasted notes. This doesn't have that kind of intensity, but it's not meant to, is it?
It's chocolatey to me though.
Yeah,
that I get.
Chocolate.
Maybe a hint of hops.
Not really a coffee smell, a hint of hop.
Yeah, not much coffee, no, definitely towards the cocoa nibs.
Yeah, doesn't smell burnt like some do.
No, it's definitely not that ashiness.
That's just,
So it's roasted barley that we used in this. Is it the same?
It smells exactly the same.
Yeah, you can't, I mean...
That is so close. That's brilliant.
So, but obviously we're marking this not as similarity, we're marking it as would we drink it? I mean,
yeah, but also there's got to be the case of we're trying to clone a beer. If this was a million miles away from that, it's not a good clone recipe, is it? The fact is that it's exactly the same.
I think the way this glass is shaped, maybe it doesn't favour the stout, and I think you would get more of the coffeeness. Maybe if the hadn't died off, obviously we're filming, so we don't get the pint and drink it. We have to set up. So they're very similar. I mean, for me, it's 7.9.
Yes,
it's really.
It's super close, but I'm not a stout.
Yeah.
Really. So I probably have to go lower because
fair enough.
It's not my favourite smelling beer in the world. It's still a good beer. I'd still give it a 7 out of 10.
Right. Yeah.
So,
that's good.
That's
yeah.
a good score.
Especially for someone that
Yeah. But the most important thing, considering it's not even lunchtime yet, and we've already had a beer already. So let's
had a Bavarian breakfast.
Yeah. Let's dive in and give it a taste.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Really good beer.
It's a really, really good beer, isn't it?
That is a good beer.
The mouthfeel is one of the best mouthfeel beers I've had.
Yeah, because we dropped the carbonation on the keg.
Dropped the carbonation on the keg, yeah.
Which works really well for this. I've said this on the it's a long tasting beer, this, isn't it? It just keeps on. Wow.
It's really bitter at the very, very last end.
Yeah.
But if you're into that,
yeah,
I think for yourself would love that. But it's not too bitter for me.
No, because a lot of stouts and dark beers are very high bitterness, but you don't get any real hop aroma or hop flavour. It's just that bitterness at the back end, and that tastes really good. I'm going to go in and try this one as well now and see how close we are.
Obviously, carbonation is a lot more mini bit blind, little cub. Is more on that.
This isn't as bitter.
No way, and it's got more maltiness.
Yeah.
But you can tell they're similar. I mean, when I was making this, it was about 45 grams of Northern Brewer.
Right
hops.
At the start of the boil.
Yeah, and 16 grams of bullion. So you're talking, 55, almost 60 grams for. I only made a 10 litre batch.
Wow.
Which is a lot of hops.
That is a lot, yeah.
Usually when we've made, like, for example, when we made the Kolsch, that was only 43 grams of Hallertau.
Yeah.
For 25 litres. So, do you know what I mean? And it's hidden really well.
And what else did you add stuff to the water for this beer?
Sorry, I forgot to say yes. So, I mean, hopefully we're going to cut into the video of
you brewing.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Penny and I'm doing a solo brew today. So obviously we started off with me and Ace tasting the beer. So basically this is me doing the 10 litre batch of the Guinness Export using Dave Lyon's book. So basically I've got everything set up here. Got Grainfather at temperature, got my sparge water and the tea in. All that's left to do is add the grain and the calcium carbonate. So I'm going to crack on. 60 minutes, 65. See you in 60. So we're just about to come to the end, ready for the sparge. So, hope you have timed this correctly. Here we go. Right guys, it's all sparge water in, so what I'm going to do is let that drain off till there's only a little bit of a dribble left, and we'll get the boil going. See you shortly. Okay guys, so we've got a lovely rolling boil going on here. All hops in, it's the only hop addition, obviously the stout, so it's purely bitter and hops. Hi guys, so we're finally at the end of the boil, so we've had 60 minutes there, so basically it's time to start cooling down this wort. Okay guys, so we've got it set up in our fermentation fridge. So you can see we've got a heat belt here, temperature probe here. So the bad boy's going in, and then We obviously close the door. And she's locked in. And temperature, we set her at a nice 19. Cheers, guys.
So 2 teaspoons of calcium carbonate.
Chalk.
Sure, calcium carbonate, yes.
So yeah.
So I added that because, well,
biggest bag in the world.
we're based in Chester and it's really soft water. So I knew that it needed harden up a bit. So obviously, traditionally, you find darker beers do really well in harsher water. You think of London and its porters. Obviously, Ireland's really hard water.
Yeah.
There is some debate whether they actually developed this Guinness beer or a stout because to match the dark water. But apparently, there is a mountain region near there or an underground stream that is actually really soft water. So it's like, well, did they or did they not? I don't know. I'm sure we can go into that when we actually review a Guinness Draught itself. But yeah, so it hardened up, and I think it worked really well because this, I mean, I love it. I absolutely love
Try
this
this
beer.
one again and just.
Oh, it's so much like coffee. It tastes like if you've ever had 100% chocolate.
Oh yeah.
Without the sugar, and then slowly that chocolatey goes, and then there's just a bitterness on the side of your tongues. And if you're into that, if you like your IPAs and you like your stouts, this is for you.
Yeah.
So I mean, which do you prefer out the two? I mean, obviously, you know, the different beer. Well, yeah, they are. So.
They're massively different beers. I prefer this one because I love the bitterness.
Me too. I love the bitterness, and I think it's more concentrated flavour.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, I feel, it's a bit more thinner on the flavour.
That was a very quiet burp line there.
Yeah.
He was purring.
Just popped his head up.
Yeah. There he is.
There he is.
He's really there, and that's from this, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
The
but
bottle
you know,
one.
bottled, you know, there's more harsher bubbles, aren't they? So.
I prefer this one, but I'm not massively into stouts, but I'd still give it a 7.2.
And I absolutely love this beer, and it's God tier for me. 9 on the dot.
Wow.
I really love it. I might, if I was to make it again, drop down the hoppiness. Maybe I would put less in at the start of the boil to give that back acrid taste. Is just a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't really see it on the beer, but when I actually put it into the bucket, you could see that the oils from the hop glimmering on the top.
Let's talk about price.
Yes. Well.
How much is this?
Oh well, what? I made a 10-litre batch, and it was more expensive to do 25-litre.
Sorry, more expensive to do 10 litres.
Sorry, if you were to comparison, yeah. So because we didn't know how it was going to turn out. You're not a master stout man. It could be good. So what we've done, we thought, well, experimental beers, we'll do 10 litres. So the 10 litre, we thought, to be fair, because every other beer's been 25 to 23. We'd get the price for that because the most expensive part's the yeast. So, and obviously use the same packet of yeast in the 10 to the 25 litres. So we'll compare.
Yeah.
So
when your yeast dropping you £8,
yeah,
it's going to change the price.
For the 25 litre was £26.50, which works out about 60p per pint.
That's cheap. That is cheap because it is a good beer.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done cheaper homebrews, but I know that you love this beer.
Yes.
So, I mean, for me, I'd give it a 7.7 because it's really cheap. It's not my favourite beer. I know there's some homebrews that I've given like really, really high scores. 7.7 because for 60p a pint, that's a really, really good beer, and it's a stout that I'd drink.
Yes. So I mean, it's not getting into the 8. 7.9 for me. Like you say, it's we've done a lot that's cheaper. I mean, the left, for example, was cheaper, and that was ingredients from the actual abbey. So to speak, well, not the abbey, but where it's made, the brewery. But 7.9, still a good score, down the score, because we've got to compare this with the homebrews. Sessionability.
Sessionability, let me just check.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, this isn't a beer that you're in the sun and the sun's on your face. This is a beer when the fire's crackling.
Yeah.
You've got some nice, pork scratchings and...
Yeah. It's a
or even a cake, you know what I mean?
For in the winter, I think it'd be really, really good. And I bet you this would go really well with a steak and ale pie. To make a steak and ale pie with, I think that'd be. I'm shocked you haven't made that for us to be eating with this right now.
Yes.
I think sessionability. I could probably have 4 of these.
Okay.
Considering I'm not really a stout drinker.
Yeah.
It's very, very bitter.
Yes.
Very, very bitter.
And it's thick, isn't it? I mean, Guinness you know, people session Guinness, and I don't know how they do it. Not because it's not a good beer; it's a really good beer, and I really like my Guinness.
Sessioning Guinness is like being at an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Do you know a good,
And literally not stopping.
do you know a good story? You can cut this out or not. But when I was in Australia, they did like their Nuts magazine, and in it they used to do an article where basically it's the worst jobs in the world.
Right.
And one of the guys' jobs was basically unblocking sewerage, and basically was submerged in shit for 8 to 9 hours a day. So they were asking you, oh, what's the worst day? Is it, I bet it's like Christmas Day or the day after Christmas Day, Boxing Day? And you went, no, St. Patrick's Day, after everyone's been drinking Guinness. The shits are rock hard. I was like, oh, mate.
Oh, mega.
But my sessionability, I had three pints of these, easy, 5.5.
Yeah,
5.5.
It's really good. I mean, I prefer it to this.
Yeah.
You can probably tell that by the fact that I'm drinking more of this than I am this one.
There's just more flavour and concentrating. I mean,
Yeah.
this is still a good beer though.
Yeah, they're both good. Ooh. They taste good on the burp too. And I think that's pretty much it for this, isn't it?
Yeah.
So would you make this again? That's the question,
Yes.
I suppose. Would we make this recipe again?
I will be making this recipe again. It's not would be, will be. And do you know what? I mean, what Isaac Newton said, the reason I can see so far is because I've stood on the shoulders of giants, and the reason why we can brew such good beer is because we've got Dave Line, or had Dave Line. So,
Yeah, what a hero.
And I really mean that, so.
Yeah. We've got a lot more stuff that we want to do out of this book as well, haven't we?
Yeah, but for personal brewing, if I want to just, you know, even if I just do another 10 litres and have it there, you know.
Yeah. This is probably a beer that would age well as well. You know,
yeah.
because there's a lot of really hop-forward beers that, you know, drink fresh, or else it will just get decline. I think this, if you
That
add a keg
bitterness
of
at
this,
the end might drop out.
yeah,
You know, that on the back of the tongue that we're having. I mean, this beer is 2 weeks old, out the fermenter, so.
yeah, it's quick.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 weeks old,
Yeah.
out the fermenter. So maybe another 3 weeks, that bitterness might drop out, but good enough to drink, 100%.
Do you want to add up the score?
Yeah.
Here's the Oyster Score for this beer. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today.
Make a Guinness.
Make it
It's good
Guinness.
for you.
What I'll do, we'll put the link to buy the recipe kit
Yes.
in the description below, and also a link to all of our other reviews, or the score spreadsheet in the description below as well. Please smash like, hit subscribe, really helps us out.
Yeah.
And I think that's it until next time.
Yes.
Oysters
Oysters
out.
out.